Hey guys, welcome back. Let's take a look at the new Orca Bomber unit. I'm sure a lot of you guys are scratching your heads, and so am I. Just exactly how powerful is this unit? Is this unit even worth leveling up? So here is the first example I want to show you guys. I haven't watched this game myself yet. It had been posted by one of my alliance members, Caesarius79, and it's against his opponent here, T2D Tony, who has a level 9 max upgraded Orca Bomber. And Caesarius also made a comment here saying this new bomber is OP. So let's see exactly what he's talking about. Now the Orca Bomber on paper, description wise, looks very strong. It hits 7 tiles. So it bombs the center tile and then it bombs all the surrounding tiles. So it does an area of effect damage. So that does sound pretty overpowered, but it does have to go over units. And if there's a lot of anti-air units, it may get damaged a lot. It might even die before it lets its bomb out. But I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it does that little carpet bomb things where it attacks all the tiles in the center. But anyways, my opponent here, or Caesarius's opponent here, T2D, goes into a helipad here. And straight off the bat, he's got the Talon. And it is wrecking these laser squads from Caesarius' side. Now, what Caesarius could be doing better is because the Talon is 1 level higher, he could have used 2 laser squads to attack that unit. But anyways, that Orca Bomber is already flying, and wow, I think it just had 6 charges. Yes, it has 6 charges on its bomb, and it just killed all those laser squads there. And the Banshee's coming out, is trying to kill this Orca Bomber here. But this Orca Bomber is going to keep firing its bomb. It doesn't stop. Okay, that's a really strange mechanic. I thought the Orca Bomber would unload its bomb as it moves. But it seems like once it starts unloading, it just continuously unloads. So it only released like 2 bombs on that Harvester on Caesarius. And then the rest of the bombs just went to the ground because the Orca Bomber was not flying over the Harvester. So that's an interesting mechanic. So it unloads the bomb automatically, so you have to move it to tiles that have units if you want those bombs to actually hit somebody. Anyways, T2D goes for double harvesters here. Caesarius just dominating the skies this guy with Banshees. And it seems like Caesarius is doing a better job. He got the harvester, he killed the Pitbulls. Now he just has to move a couple more Banshees to the bottom side to kill that Talon and secure that missile. But they're really just going to be holding the missile here, and the game is kind of not going anywhere at this point. Attack bike sending to the Talon on the bottom side. That's a good move for Caesarius. T2D finally clears up those Banshees that were attacking his Harvester, and it looks like the first missile will go to Caesarius as those attack bikes control the bottom launch pad. So not much Orca Bomber coming out from Tony's side. So I'm curious as to see where this game goes wrong. My guess is Caesarius ends up getting dominated by this Orca Bomber unit because he made the comment Orca Bomber is OP, unless he was being sarcastic, and I'm not sure if Caesarius was being sarcastic when he said the Orca Bomber is OP. But when we saw that initial Orca Bomber action, it looked pretty strong. It's just the mechanic is a little bit different than I thought it was going to be. And it seems like T2D is just getting base rush. T2D just goes for a Sandstorm here. And I think this might actually... I'm not sure if Caesarius will win this game. He gets a Giga Cannon up, and he's going to continuously go for those Harvesters. T2D almost lost his base here, too. So I'm really curious as to see where this game goes wrong. There comes out the Orca Bomber, and it's going to start carpet bombing Caesarius' units here. Wow, look at that area of effect damage. 2 bikes and a Giga Cannon down instantly. Yikes. That thing is absolutely threatening. It absolutely just blew up 2 Giga Cannons and attack bikes extremely fast while taking minimal damage. Of course, attack bikes were the only ones that could attack that unit, not the Giga Cannons. And now Caesarius is just going to go for the base rush because he can. And Caesarius still ends up winning, but we got to see some slightly overpowered action from the Orca Bomber. But I can see the Orca Bomber getting countered quite a bit by anti-air units. It probably isn't like super overpowered, but damn, it does a lot of damage to ground units. Like, definitely more than I thought it was going to be. that was a nice game on Caesarius' side. Regardless, he won the game and took that win from his opponent who was using that Orca Bomber. Let's take a look at the second game here. It's going to be Bobani versus Lex, and Lex is the one who's going to be fielding the Orca Bombers, as you guys can see. And Lex looks like he's got an air army here as well. He's got a drone, and drones, as you guys know, recently sort of got a buff on its health and then a nerf on the cost. So now the drones cost 20 crystals to build, but it's more durable because it has more health. And I actually used the new drone after patch 1.4 for some games, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. Because it has more health now, it takes a longer time for the drones to die. So I don't think the drones are completely unviable. Like in this case, Bobani goes immediately for jump jet squads, and I think he did not have a harvester at all. Yeah, now he goes for a harvester. But drones, look at these drones, right? They are protecting his harvester well, and it looks like the harvester may go down, but it looks like Lex's great micro here with the quick drones took out that jump jet. So the drones are not completely useless. It's just, I'm not sure if the increasing the cost from 10 to 20 was really necessary. But anyways, there comes out a talent for Bobani's side now as he fails that jump jet rush here. And I think one thing we can do about the drones as well is, I mean, if you're gonna make it cost 20 crystals, you could maybe give it a 3-tile vision. One of the most annoying things, or the biggest complaint I have about the drones, is that they don't have the same vision range as war dogs or riflemen, and that's kind of a big deal. Scouting is a really big deal because you get information on what your opponent's doing. By not having 3-tile vision, you can't really see what your opponent's going for by using the drones. So I think the drones could definitely get a tile increase on its vision range, because the drones should be kind of like the equivalent of war dogs and riflemen. But anyways, first missile goes to Lex here, and he's going to boost up his jump jet squads. One harvester is definitely going to go down here. There comes out a Wolverine from Bobani's side, no Orca Bomber at all, and there comes out one from Lex finally. There's one Orca Bomber now that's coming out, and the Orca Bombers are quite fast at moving. It's faster than the Inferno Bomber, and it certainly does more damage over time as it unloads those bombs. And as you guys can see, 6 shells killed a Wolverine from, you know, 100 to 0 right there. And the Wolverine almost did not get a chance to fire on the Orca Bombers. Another Orca Bomber coming out from Lex here. And as it unloads those bombs, it does not stop. And that Orca Bomber almost goes down. Now, keep in mind that Wolverine is 2 levels higher. So you'd imagine if the Orca Bomber was much higher on its level, if it was the same level, it would have definitely not taken as much damage. Now, that Zone Trooper, as you guys saw as well, just immediately got wrecked by the Orca Bomber. It almost didn't even get to fire on it, and I think it's the way you micro it. You just have to kind of move your Orca Bomber back and forth, and they're really just trying to control for this missile here. That one Sandstorm holding it all. A Talon coming out here. He's gonna send a quick jump jet to the try to send it to the Sandstorm, but he stops. I don't know why he stopped. If I was him, I'd send that jump jet to that Sandstorm launch pad real quick. Yeah, I mean, I think Lex kind of unnecessarily lost the missile here. He might have had a better chance if he sent that jump jet a lot earlier to the tile, because it's all about controlling the missiles at this point. And the Talons effectively countered those Orca Bombers. And but it seems like the Orca Bombers are quite strong, because taking out things like the Wolverine, Zone Troopers, you know, those are Tech Lab units. They have a lot of health. That makes this unit quite viable. And now we're going to see how much damage it's going to do against these Sandstorms. And the Orca Bomber already started unloading its bomb, but it died. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why the Orca Bomber started to unload its bomb that fast. I don't think there was any unit in its path. The Orca Bomber should only unload its bombs when there are enemy units that are in its path, in its carpet bombing range. But anyways, Lex is probably going to go for more Orca Bombers here. There comes out double bombers. Let's see how this is going to work out. And those bombs are unloading. Ooh, the Zone Trooper barely survives here. And both of those bombers go down. Now, these Orca Bombers cost 100 crystals each. In the description, it said that they would cost 120. It looks like they reduced the cost of it. So they aren't cheap units, but of course cheaper to build than Tech Lab. But eventually here, the Tech Lab units did prevail. The Sandstorms, I think, stood very well against the Orca Bombers. Wolverines and Zone Troopers, not as much. But of course, at the end, if you have multiple Tech Lab units that can attack air, and take those Orca bombers down from the sky, you're going to end up controlling the launch pads and win the game. So it seems like those Orca bombers are in kind of in the right spot. I don't think they're super OP just because you can use these high-tech lab units to counter this unit. Now this will be your third game we'll take a look at. It's Stovey versus Tony Casto. And Tony Casto has a Helipad army here with the drone opening once again and the Orca bomber. So let's take a look at this game here. They have similar level units here. Tony's got that level 13 jump jets. Wow, those are super high level jump jets. But anyways, we're going to see how this plays out. And Tony is probably going to go, he's going to start off into a barrack. Okay, I thought I was going to go into a helipad here, into the drones, but that's not what he's going to do. He's going to send a missile squad to see what Stovey's got for him. And Stovey's going to go immediately through a jump jet squad. Jump jet squads can make a pretty good scouting unit early on in the game because you can see, or you can try to kill your enemy harvester as well. See what they're doing. And jump jets are very, very annoying to deal with. Of course, shockwave immediately coming out from Tony's side. And Tony does sneak in that missile squad as well himself. And they're both running away with their harvesters. But Stovey's got a pretty good defense on his harvester here as Tony's going to move back his harvester to where it was. It looks like Tony's going to have to go for one drone here to deal with that jump jet that's trying to kill the harvester. And Stovey's going to go for a helipad himself. And the Talon is going to be coming out. And it looks like Tony will want to go for either a hammerhead or he's going to want to go for missile squads to deal with those Talons. Because now we're going to see, of course, multiple Talons coming out. And there comes out one hammerhead immediately from Tony's side. And of course, these Talons are, even though they will be able to stand up against these hammerheads, if played right, of course, Tony Casto is going to take away the air superiority with this premium hammerhead unit. But the hammerhead does go down to 2 Talons, and the turret damage it took from Stovey's commander power. And missile's almost done. It's going to be a shockwave fight here. Lots of drones coming out. I think the drones are definitely more viable than you know, people are saying, because the higher health that you get from the drones definitely lets it survive for a bit longer. I think the biggest problem is its vision range. Once again, that's something I've mentioned. I would love to see the drones getting a 3-tile vision range instead of just having 2-tile, and that will make helipad openings more viable. But anyways, more hammerheads coming out from Tony's side. Stovey eventually switches up to a sandstorm here as he farmed up enough crystals. And sandstorms are going to take a lot of damage from pretty much any units Tony will pump out. And it looks like Stovey's just going to start base rushing with a sandstorm. And the sandstorm, like the Kodiak, it's got the arc barrage range where it attacks 3 tiles in front of it. So it's a pretty good unit to do base rush with. And that's kind of what Stovey's going for. And Tony is going to have to try to stop that sandstorm at some point. But because Tony is at max unit cap, he actually can't build any units. You can see he's in the red zone. And he does let one of his units die finally, so he's going to send a jump jet. And that single harvest, the single sandstorm pretty much just wrecked Tony's base. That was pretty scary. So you really have to take a look at how many units that you have on the battlefield, because once you have 5 units on the battlefield, it takes a really long time for you to build a new unit. And if you can't counter your opponent's unit with the right units, of course you're going to end up losing the game. So that was a very close call for Tony. But anyways, it looks like both of the top launch pads are captured by hammerheads, but Stovey's going to turn around, snipe, and steal that missile. Although we saw no Orca bomber action in this game at all, regardless, it was still a very intense game. We got to see some nice helipad action from Tony's side. He did a nice attempt at trying to play with those drones, but he ends up losing the game because he took way too much damage from the sandstorm. He was unit capped, so he could not spawn a new unit quick enough, and Stovey just took that missile at the end, winning him the game. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We definitely saw the power of the Orca bomber. It carries 6 bombs, and once it starts unloading those bombs, it will not stop. So you have to try to micro that unit as best as you can to kill all or most enemy ground units as possible while it's unloading the bombs. So let me know what you guys think about this unit. I think it's in the right spot right now. It doesn't seem like it's super overpowered, but it can look like that if you don't have the right units to counter it. So I'm going to see you guys next time, and I hope you guys have a great day.